Three and Nicola's job, of course, watching the clouds for us from the Weather Center, but we're going to get back to business here and getting our head into the clouds, or the cloud, so to speak, with Lee Kirby with Leopard Business Systems. Thanks for joining us, Lee. You guys are specializing, and you've got a lot of software applications in terms of, well, actually, we're all getting familiar with the cloud to some point, although it's a relatively, it's a nascent technology, but it's ever expanding not only in our personal lives, but in small, medium, and of course, corporately, big business as well. We all need to get onto this because this really is the way of the future.
There's no question. I mean, if you think about it, Hotmail, Gmail, these personal email programs, that's a cloud application we've been using for years.
Yeah, and since then we have iCloud, and Microsoft is doing a big push in cloud
Microsoft's
technology.
really trying to drive the Office into the cloud. Instead of putting the Office suite on your workstation, you actually use a cloud-based, Google Docs is a cloud application, so it's really starting to grow.
And huge advantages in terms of storage, among other issues.
Yeah, your material's sitting in somebody's server in a data center where you don't have to worry about security and a whole bunch of other things.
Well, I was going to ask about that again. With any nascent technology, people get a little. Well, are there concerns in terms of the security?
Sure. I mean, some reasons people don't
from
go
the
into
consumer
the cloud.
perspective.
From a consumer standpoint, I don't think it's a big issue. It's kind of nice to know where your data is being stored. Certainly, from a business standpoint, we like to keep our data in Canada.
That's a good point too. So with the cloud computing for small business, it's on Canadian servers because there are issues with that. Right?
No question. We have an application that we run that's a document management application, which is actually in a server in a data center in downtown Hamilton. It's there by design. We just don't want to be putting people where they could be subject to U.S. legislation for where their data is sitting.
Right, might be vulnerable to whatever in that regards. So you got a small business owner at home watching. Oh boy, I guess I should be thinking about this. In fact, CFOs that were surveyed said 93% of them, in fact, said cloud computing is key to success in the next year and a half. Everybody has to get on board.
I think everybody's there to some extent. There's a little bit going on in most organizations. There's going to be some application that it just makes more sense to run it in somebody else's server than your own.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about the security, and also, in terms of fingers in the data too, this kind of, there's security levels in that regard as well. And it streamlines things. I mean, obviously it's green, but what are the, can you speak on the hard cost savings here?
Well, I think one of the things is you don't have to buy your own servers. You don't have that infrastructure.
Right up front, there's an obvious saving.
And change every 3 years or every 4 years. You don't need as many IT resources internally, although you still need some management resources.
But there's some administrative savings.
Yeah, there's administrative savings. I think the other issue is you can get access to software and applications that you maybe couldn't afford another way. A big play in this has been the CRM, customer relationship management programs. One of the biggest ones is Salesforce.com, but the Sugar CRM, Microsoft has it with the Microsoft Dynamics in the cloud. Instead of spending $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to put software in place, you pay per month. So the software is you have details on your website, and we saw a little sampling here of just some of the applications that you can store. Give us the wide range. How expansive is it, just in terms of what you can put up in the cloud? Well, really, you can put almost anything in the cloud that you could store in your own local system. What you have to do is find the application that fits your need, and that's where the shopping comes in. And you frankly have to understand how the cloud works. One key to the cloud, you have to have a good internet connection. So if you don't have a good pipe, then you're going to have problems in the cloud. And so that's one of the big issues. And frankly, in Canada, internet connections are relatively expensive. So that's one of the things
that's an ongoing issue.
And oddly enough, sometimes in some of the business environments, if you look at where the business parks are, oddly enough, many of them do not have as many options for internet connections as you do in your home.
Which really, and again, as we get into the cloud world, that's got to change.
Yeah, and it is changing. I mean, people are starting to string fiber. They're putting other difference, but it's all cost effectiveness. I mean, you got to get that pipe at a price that you can afford, and then with enough capacity to do both the upload and the download. Yeah,
but as we saw, there's Excel, as simple as Excel documents to you name it. So for more information, you can head online. There's the website, leopard.com. Thanks for the introductory to it, though. Getting our head into the clouds. All right, and Nicola's looking at more. Well, we'll see if there's any clouds in the forecast. The weather's next in your Tuesday drive-in, too. The news at 7:30, next on Morning Live.
This